Hello there. I worry about the focus, but whatever. We're back here with the daily One Piece arc reviews, which we're doing for like all of December as like the advent calendar you open. This one's come a little bit later today, but whatever. And we're in the One Piece T-shirt. My friend bought me because I've been doing this with like the One Piece thing. Got me this like One Piece shirt, which is kind of cool. So we might be wearing, as long as it stays clean, wearing this One Piece shirt as we talk through. Kind of the next few arcs, right? So let's talk about it's a mini arc here. It is the Adventures of Buggy's Crew, a real like light-hearted mini arc which follows Buggy, who I love, after his defeat in the Orangetown arc. I think it's like a fun, entertaining detour, like type of stuff that like you'd maybe consider filler, but I think it's cool. Yeah, though it's like a side story, right? Though it's like a Gaiden, I do appreciate how it kind of adds humor and character development to Buggy, who's someone who we were introduced to early on, and was there was a lot of there was a lot to enjoy with Buggy. There's been a few characters in One Piece, like villain-wise, who have been duds so far, but like Buggy and Arlong, of course, have been real standouts for different reasons. And yeah, so this brings out, because Buggy we're going to see a lot more as we go through in different arcs and whatever, and this mini arc, these like little story they do here, is really one of the things that kind of helps turn him from more of just a one-off villain into something that's a little bit bigger, and we start to get introduced to kind of new characters along the way as well. So Buggy the Clown obviously really shines in this mini arc as like a character. While he starts off as like just this like comedic villain, I enjoy how this arc starts to show this sort of like vulnerable and scrappy side of him, which becomes really more important as we see more and more Buggy as we go on. Watching him get reduced to just the head, the hands, and the feet, like so he becomes like the chibi Buggy, is really funny. I enjoyed it, and seeing the struggle in the survive in the wild is like it's funny, it's endearing, it's refreshing to see a villain go through such humbling circumstances, right? And I admire Buggy's resourcefulness and determination that allows him to sort of claw his way back towards relevancy. His antics, especially like his over the top sort of like explosive, like turned up to 11 anime reactions to his misfortunes, keep it kind of like consistently funny and entertaining for me. And comedy can be something that's really sort of like hit or miss for me. And I guess for like a lot of people, it's something where when it's bad, it's really bad. But I do think the Buggy stuff's really funny. I like the introduction of Alvida, who reappears after eating the smooth fruit and undergoing like this dramatic transformation, and the new confidence Alvida gets in the team up with Buggy makes for this like really amusing and unexpected pairing, and that's something that really shines as we go throughout One Piece, as we start to build up these relationships with the characters, and we start to get like pairings and combinations of them which we wouldn't like strictly expect, right? That contrasting personalities creating these really fun dynamics. I like Alvida's new look. It's treated like a fresh start for a character, right? And her partnership with Buggy also sets up like future interactions, as we're saying, we're going to see not only of them with the Straw Hats, but also just like, hey, like we can have like characters we've met before kind of like combine. The loyal Buggy crew, who there's like Mohichi, Kabaji, Richie the Lion, they get some like fun moments as well. I enjoy how the crew remains faithful to Buggy despite his absence. I enjoy how that like becomes a, as we get to things further towards the end of like part one of One Piece, how that sort of like loyalty of Buggy becomes like a thing. Richie becoming the temporary leader is really, really funny. And the crew themselves sort of bungling their way through survival, holding hope for Buggy's return. It adds like a lot of charm to the arc. Leaning into the humor, leaning into the absurdity. It really it's like some nice sort of like levity, and it's a nice sort of break and palate cleanser after the more like really intense like story arcs that we had with like Along Park, which of course I freaking loved. His encounters with giant animals, the like ridiculous attempts to like intimidate people despite being so tiny, just being like chibi Buggy, the floating head, like that sort of stuff is really really good. The flailing parts from like chop chop fruit, just sort of, you know, going around adds the humor, and the determination to rebuild his crew despite the situation. It's like kind of oddly inspiring in a way. I do think Buggy is kind of an oddly inspiring character in his own sort of like goofy way. Um, it does benefit how it like ties back into the main story, and that's something that like Oda's very good at in One Piece. So there's kind of like these like disparate parts which don't seem like they fit together into something bigger, but like it's setting the stage for like his eventual reappearance, which we're gonna get real soon, and how he becomes a significant player, like more and more and more and more as the story goes on. It really it takes that transformation, right, of like Buggy potentially being this kind of like freak of the week, kind of monster of the week, villain of the week, whatever we want to terminology. I'm using like serialized television terminology, but whatever kind of you want to like label him as, right? This is start of transition. Like, no, this dude wasn't just a one-off, and this is a guy who's gonna be this like enduring comic presence in the series. It adds the world building, adds the continuity, and it establishes, you know, it starts to establish it just like, hey, everyone is like fair game. Especially since like no one dies in One Piece, which is an issue we'll kind of, you know, get to later. But yeah, I'd say Buggy and Alvida relationships the highlight. The like Buggy's overconfidence, Alvida's like cool self assurance, the grudge they have against Luffy that they share, how it sets up their eventual revenge plot that we're gonna, you know, see in Logtown when I talk about that arc. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun interlude. It doesn't carry the emotional weight or the high stakes drama that like the main arcs have when they're really hitting, which we just had it like a real, you know, a first peek at Along Park, which is really gonna take some beating, you know. But like it's just like a comedic character driven side story about like Buggy's resilience and ridiculous antics. It just makes it like this is really like the establishment of like, I talked about how much I liked him and sort of like what he represented and whatever for the show, for the series, for the manga in when we talk about Orange Town. But like here it's just like really just like, hey, this is like, this solidifies him as like this ongoing, you know, kind of like fan favorite villain with like unexpected depth. Like you've got to say it's like unexpected depth. At least I do. Yeah, enriches him, adds just the colorful world of One Piece in general, and it's a really worthwhile part of the journey. I think this will, you know, I've nearly talked to 10 minutes about the adventures of Buggy's crew. Do you know what I mean? And like, if it's another character, it's like the potential to do that would probably be really lacking. But yeah, this is kind of hot. This is kind of cool, and a nice palate cleanser, and kind of like prelude to what's coming after that like really intense, you know, highs we're getting with Orland Park. I don't know what you guys think of this. Am I digging too deep into something that is a little bit of a nothing burger, or are you with me? Do you think this is kind of sick and kind of fun and not to be skipped? One Piece, man, look at that. We got the One Piece on the go. That's what we're talking about. All right, guys. So I will be back tomorrow because we want to do these daily. And of course, next we will talk about Buggy's kind of like his crossover back with the main story as we get into Logtown and we start actually moving towards leaving the East Blue. So yeah, stay tuned for that. One Piece, man. Bye.